Unquestionable video evidence of a fierce, hotly contested physical strategy versus the Indiana Fever has recently surfaced online. And in the process, Sophie Cunningham completely changed the course of events and destroyed the internet. The media coverage of this weekend's huge, eagerly awaited preseason game between the Indiana Fever and the New York Liberty at the Barclays Center failed to capture the genuine nature of what was taking place on the court. The contentious plays were skimmed over. The heavy defensive pressure was disregarded. However, the entire WNBA ecosystem is currently in shock due to viral fan footage and the Indiana Fever's main enforcer's unreserved ferocity. Sophie Cunningham's huge three-pointers weren't the only reason she went viral. Because she actively blocked, sealed off, and physically cleared space against anyone who attempted to put pressure on Caitlin Clark, she converted a professional basketball floor into a fortress, which is how she went viral. The highly acclaimed face of the New York Liberty, Breanna Stewart, just discovered why the Indiana Fever are turning into the WNBA's most physically formidable team. The uncensored, very analytical forum for the most intelligent online basketball discussions. You should immediately stop watching this video if you are searching for corporate PR gibberish. Today, we'll analyze the widely shared video of Breanna Stewart's contentious off-ball contact, Sophie Cunningham's viral outburst as the ultimate bodyguard, the Liberty's actual defensive strategy, the enormous value of Cunningham's contract, and the iconic TikTok celebration that recently solidified the Indiana Fever's dynasty culture. It was a night. First, let's establish the scenario and reveal the precise cause of Sophie Cunningham's viral success. The unedited fan footage that the mainstream media hardly talked about is essential to understanding why Cunningham was out there clearing space like a nightclub bouncer.
Hey, real quick, let me kill this sound because it got copyright music. You guys see that? Did y'all? And now she throwing up her hands. She's throwing up her hands like she ain't just damn me. Boom. Lead forward and assault Sophie Cunningham, bro. Dirty fucking play there. That was a dirty play. Now, it looked like the referee actually might caught this. It says
Before Sophie Cunningham began on her blocking spree, former MVP Breanna Stewart made an obvious, completely unjustified violent play against her. Take a close look at this uncut fan footage. Breanna Stewart deliberately crosses Cunningham's path as she tries to move around the perimeter. However, Stewart does more than simply establish a solid legal basketball screen. She launches an extremely contentious and hazardous elbow straight into Sophie Cunningham's chest area by abandoning basic basketball fundamentals and leaning her entire upper body weight forward. Stewart then looks at the referee and acts as though the massive contact was a total accident, throwing her hand straight up into the air. That basketball play has generated a lot of controversy and discussion.
So this is a slow motion version of it. So as you guys can see here, just look at this. Boom, bro. Boom. Just completely look at Breanna Stewart's face. And this is who we got in charge of negotiating the CBAs. Look at this. Like, how do something like this happens always?
The biomechanics of this particular play explain why it has generated so heated discussion when you examine the slow-motion frame-by-frame analytical analysis. Stewart is shifting his feet outside the three-point arc. In an attempt to find the heavy impact, she actively propels her body weight forward. To achieve the highest level of physical dominance, she stretches her arm away from her torso. While some fans think this is just part of the intensity of the playoffs, others think it clearly crosses the line into a non-basketball play. However, how did Sophie Cunningham respond to this powerful blow from a forward who was noticeably taller? She didn't fail. She didn't voice any complaints to the referees. She took the blow, remained upright, and was ready for battle right away. Because Sophie Cunningham was fully aware of what the New York Liberty were trying to accomplish. The Liberty were aware that the Indiana Fever's hyperspeed transition offense was mathematically unstoppable. They therefore used their greatest amount of physical force. Caitlin Clark was their direct target.
Talking about right here. So this was Sophie here. But watch how this girl is hacking Caitlin Clark. Watch this. Caitlin Clark is getting hacked. Watch. Watch. Look at her. Hacking Caitlin Clark all over. Now watch Sophie. Boom. Now, when Sophie did...
Examine the New York Liberty's perimeter defense of Clark in great detail. Take a look at the forceful hand-checking. As Caitlin Clark merely tries to maneuver the half-court offense, notice how the defenders are heavily crowding, grabbing, and physically testing her space. The cynical belief held by the Liberty defenders was that the referees would just swallow their whistles and let the generational superstar deal with unparalleled physicality. Sophie Cunningham made the decision to totally disrupt the New York Liberty defense at that precise moment. Cunningham was seen by the cameras performing precisely what she does better than nearly every other WNBA player. She was putting up enormous, unyielding screens that made her point very evident. With a degree of unadulterated ferocity that is uncommon in contemporary basketball, she was physically pushing opponents away from Clark.
Sophie didn't look like she leaned into her, bro. Let me see. Nope. I don't think she did. I don't think. Oh, and old girl flopped. Look at this damn flop. She threw her arms up and everything. Now, if we go back and look at what happened to Sophie, like people want to say Sophie did the same thing.
One particular viral sequence caused a complete frenzy on the internet. A Liberty defender was getting closer to Caitlin Clark's blind side as she drove the lane aggressively. However, Sophie Cunningham entered the game from the weak side and set the kind of tough, unyielding screen that would make an old-fashioned NBA enforcer proud. She didn't only make a few inches of room. She took up the room. With an intensity that shocked the crowd, she pushed her own body between Caitlin Clark and the oncoming defender. And take a look at the New York Liberty defender's incredibly dramatic response in this particular video. The Liberty defender flings her arms into the air and flops dramatically backward onto the parquet as Cunningham places a lawful, precisely positioned screen to shield Clark, attempting to sell the call in a desperate manner.
Look at Sophie. Sophie ain't flopped. She immediately, Breanna Stewart, a big gal. Look, she ain't throw her hands up. See, there's a big difference. Watch this one here. Look, she flopped. That was a half second.
The way Sophie Cunningham responded to Breanna Stewart's hefty elbow early in the game is directly comparable to the extremely dramatic flop. Like a warrior, Cunningham took the heavy bodily impact. The Liberty defender fully collapsed to the ground, pleading for a whistle after feeling a legal screen. That is the precise distinction between someone attempting to influence the referees and a tough, real basketball enforcer. This video went popular on social media. She was being referred to as Caitlin Clark's personal bodyguard by knowledgeable basketball fans. And Breanna Stewart, who made the initial contact, felt precisely how the rest of the league currently perceives the Indiana Fever after watching this enormously popular video. The WNBA as a whole is greatly intimidated. Let me describe the problem as it actually is. Caitlin Clark received far greater physical punishment during the previous season than nearly every other WNBA player. Veterans shoved, hit, and swarmed her all the time. Her debut season terminated after just 13 games due to soft tissue injuries, which were directly caused by the enormous accumulation of that daily physical toll. Clark was being struck hard every night, which led to those injuries. Sophie Cunningham was the only one who intervened to stop it. She is now formally returned. She tore her MCL excruciating months ago. After 9 arduous, excruciating months of rigorous physical rehabilitation, she questioned whether her knee would be structurally sound. Eventually, the front desk made her an offer of precisely $665,000 for a 1-year contract that was considerably discounted. She wanted to be here so badly that she signed it. She aspired to be the ultimate enforcer of the world's finest show. She also demonstrated on Saturday afternoon at the Barclays Center that 9 months of arduous knee rehabilitation had not altered her identity in the slightest. She concluded with an incredible +8 rating in the box score, scored 13 crucial points, and went a very effective 5 of 8 from the field. There is a lot of controversy around Sophie Cunningham's actions on the basketball court. Her devastating moving screens are at the very limit of what WNBA referees can allow. She will receive technical fouls in some heated contests. However, having Sophie Cunningham on your roster in full health is an indisputable mathematical cheat code. It radically alters how your franchise player is approached by opposition defenses. You actively reconsider making physical contact with Caitlin Clark if you are aware that doing so will cause Cunningham to match that level of aggression on the subsequent possession. There is a real enforcement effect. Sophie Cunningham shared a TikTok video following the win, which went viral right away. She was requesting dubs on the chat while flexing her surgically repaired knee while lip-syncing to Gretchen Wilson's Here for the Party in her New York hotel room. Cunningham is wonderfully captured in that viral TikTok. She contributes an indisputable, highly marketable energy to the WNBA, plays hard, and celebrates hard. For the front office of the Indiana Fever, this is the harsh business reality. Sophie Cunningham is a huge front office asset with a 1-year contract. She is adding exceptional value to the strongly ingrained team culture. Other teams, such as the Phoenix Mercury or the Las Vegas Aces, will actively attempt to steal her if she keeps up this outstanding performance. The ultimate enforcer, the enormous personality, and a fundamental cultural component that is truly irreplaceable might be lost by the Fever. Before another team moves in, the front office needs to start considering a multi-year extension. Sophie Cunningham's impact will be felt by every team on the Indiana Fever's demanding schedule this season. With a vengeance, she has returned. Furthermore, Caitlin Clark's structural safety has never been better. We would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our devoted channel subscribers, such as Sarah, Mark, and David, for your financial support and insistence on superior, unwavering tactical analysis. If you share our passion for the tough, unyielding enforcer mindset, hit the subscribe button right now. Let me know your favorite Sophie Cunningham bodyguard moment from this weekend, and share your uncensored predictions in the comment section below if you want the most comprehensive roster breakdown available online. The highly anticipated next preseason game is scheduled for April 30th against the Dallas Wings, and we will cover every minute of the action, so hit the notification bell right now.